But what about the responsibility that a filmmaker has to their subject? You know, it's such a touchy thing to want to make a film about someone, and then if that person does say yes, you're worried, how will they perceive themselves? You know, what sort of allegiance do you have to that subject so that you cut it together in a way that they're happy with, but also that you're happy with?
That's a good question. I mean, you know, you want your art, when it comes down to it, to not be this sort of democratic process. You don't want to be people-pleasing when you're trying to, you know, share this feeling or this urge that's kind of just on your heart, you know. And there are times, like with my last film, where you do have an allegiance, you build an allegiance to somebody, and you want to do them justice, and you don't want to make them look bad. But sometimes making them look bad is good for the story, and so that struggle does kind of come up often. And I guess what to do about that, I mean, I think in the end, what we chose to do with the last film anyway, I think it varies with film to film, subject to subject, was do justice to the story. If we have to put them in kind of a bad light or negative light, we'll do so, but not to the extent that we're going to ruin their character or something, you know, and do them an injustice. For example, like in La Souce, there are scenes of Josue, our main character, falling asleep in his cab as he's waiting for customers to come up to his cab. He's waiting at a train station. And, you know, it's probably not a very good way to represent a cab driver, a guy that's constantly falling asleep. You know, you want to feel like, you know, you're relatively safe when someone's driving you around town. And so we were kind of worried about those kinds of things. We don't want to portray him as this guy who's just kind of sleeping on the job all the time, and you know, he depends on this income. It's very important to him, and we don't want to do that to him. So, you know, I think we did it kind of tastefully in the film. We didn't shoot him falling asleep at the wheel entirely. You know, like there's a couple shots of him kind of looking sleepy, but we were very careful not to portray him in a certain light that would affect his ability to make a living for him and his family. So yeah, I don't know, I think you kind of had to, it's case by case basis, I think. Yeah,
I remember those scenes, and I think you did them tastefully well because it fit in with the fact that he was working two jobs, and you could feel just how exhausting, but then his sense of duty to his family, and the chance to be in America. So it definitely worked.
Yeah, and we just didn't want to go too far on that, just enough to kind of like tell the story. Yeah.